A senior commander of the U.S. Department of Defense is due to visit Israel on Wednesday. Kurilla, who heads the United States Central Command, is there to discuss the latest developments on Iran. Two senior advisors to President Biden are due to arrive in Israel on Thursday, according to media reports. They'll be discussing ways to end the conflict in Lebanon. Let's go to Nour. Odeh. She's in the Jordanian capital, Amman, because the Israeli government has banned Al Jazeera from operating inside Israel and the occupied West Bank. So what are you hearing about this line, Nour?
Well, Sami, a few things are happening. On the one hand, you have the head of Central Command in the Israeli army coming to visit to talk Iran, to talk defense in Israel, coordinating efforts, joint efforts, whether it's to protect Israel from possible Iranian retaliation, but also to talk about other mutual defense issues. And it comes in the wake of Pentagon warnings to Iran that it should not be considering a strike at Israel. You also have the Israeli press talking about the need to finish the war on Lebanon. Yediot Ahronot's front page today said, finish the job, finish the war in the north fast. And that's where Amos Hochstein and Brett McGurk come in. They will be talking with Israel about a possible deal to end the war in Lebanon, to implement UN Security Council Resolution 1701. But the Israelis have new conditions, namely that they want to be the ones enforcing by force, by fire, that resolution, which we have to remind our viewers stipulates that both sides, Israel and Hezbollah, must respect the borders and must respect the territorial integrity of Lebanon and Israel, respectively. So there are still a lot of questions to be answered as to whether there is really a hope for a deal between Lebanon and Israel. In the meantime, Human Rights Watch has called on countries to suspend arms sales to Israel because, according to the organization, it is targeting medical crews in Lebanon, and that may amount to war crimes.
All right, we'll leave it there. That's Nour Odeh reporting to us from Amman in Jordan, because Israel has banned Al Jazeera from reporting inside Israel and the occupied West Bank. Well, let's speak to Mairav Zonszein. She is a senior Israel analyst with the International Crisis Group and joins us from Tel Aviv. Good to have you with us. So first of all, Mairav, as you read Israeli politics right now, how much unanimity is there within the Israeli cabinet to accept a ceasefire deal on Lebanon?
Well, I think overall the Israeli defense establishment sees the last few weeks of the operation as successful. The defense minister claims that Hezbollah has only 20% of its arsenal. So as far as the military is concerned, it's pretty much reached its achievements in Lebanon and would like to see a deal. However, there are members in Netanyahu's security cabinet who I believe would probably want to go further. There might be people who are looking at trying to rewire Lebanese politics, go further in. They don't rely on a ceasefire deal to ensure security. So there's probably a bit of a dispute there, but I would say that overall, it seems like Israel is signaling that it's interested in reaching some kind of resolution from what it sees as a place of power and strength after it's hit Hezbollah quite hard.
Do you think Israel is ready to back down from some of its demands, such as what they call, or what's been called, active enforcement to ensure Hezbollah doesn't rebuild along border areas, or that the Israeli Air Force have a right to operate in Lebanese airspace and so on?
Well, we know from the 2006 war and how it ended with 1701, which was not enforced, and neither side really abided by it. Israel has every reason to doubt that it will be enforced this time. And so I don't think it's going to easily give up on its right, or what it sees as its right to enforce. And I think that's really the question here. It's not so much getting to a ceasefire, as much as what happens the moment that ceasefire is breached. If Israel wants to return some 80,000 citizens to its border, it needs to feel like it has the ability to ensure their security, and it can't have, even a single rocket or drone flying over. So I don't think it's going to give up on that. It also has the Syria-Lebanon border to worry about. As we know, there's a campaign between the wars, as it's called, where Israel bombs weapons shipments coming in from Syria. It has also asked the U.S. to ensure enforcement of sea and air transfers. So I think Israel at this point is focused very much not on the day of a ceasefire goes in, but on what happens afterwards. And I think at this point, it feels like it's in a place of power that it can make those demands. Whether or not those demands will be met is quite a different question.
Is there any thinking in the current Israeli administration to truly create a better sense of peace for everyone in the region, that it needs to end the occupations, whether it's the occupation of Palestinian territory in the West Bank and Gaza, the Shabaa farms, or the Syrian Golan Heights? So that might be a better guarantee rather than trying to create a situation where we have more Israeli forces on more Lebanese territory.
It's hard to say because you have far-right members of the Israeli cabinet. You have people in Israel, a minority, who would like to see Israel resettling Lebanon or settling Lebanon. So there's all kinds of different, voices that you can hear within the Israeli power, the corridors of power. But, I'd still like to believe that the people in charge understand that trying to occupy Lebanon is not in Israel's own interest. I can't say the same, of course, for Gaza, where Israel is very much interested in remaining. But I believe that, because Israel is bleeding soldiers on a pretty much daily basis. It's lost, I think, over 10 soldiers in the last few days just in Lebanon alone. So I think that the more practical understanding that staying will have a higher price and a higher cost than leaving could be the determining force in what we see in the next few days and weeks.
All right, Mairav Zonszein there. Thank you for your analysis.
Thank you.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.